Hi, welcome. Again, I don't know who's here, so for anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Mel. I'm an alignment coach and I'm a numerologist. And so today's live, we are going to be talking about the energy of 2026, which we've already done. You know, we did a universal forecast at the beginning of the year, but I always like to kind of go back to that because it is a energy that is very much present, very much influences us from the beginning of the year till the end of the year. So it's not going anywhere, and it's good to kind of recap on things and kind of just see like where you are in your life right now versus the energy that we're being influenced by. So we are going to recap just a little bit on the one universal year. And for anybody who doesn't know what the universal year is, in numerology, we have cycles of time. And we have what is known as the universal year, which changes every year and is felt on a collective level. So we all feel the influence of that particular number, that particular cycle that we're in. And then we also have a personal year number, which is personal to us. So, I mean, anybody can experience the same number. And the numbers run 1 through 9, and the master numbers, including the master numbers 11, 22. So, I mean, me and my best friend could be experiencing the same personal year. However, how it's going to show up for each one of us could be completely different. We're two different people. We live two different lives, two different stories. And at the end of the day, though, the themes for that particular number, for that particular cycle, will always remain the same. Okay? Just so you guys know, if you do have any questions, feel free to chime in. If you're unclear about something, let me know. We'll definitely touch on that. Don't be afraid to jump in and chit chat. And yeah, I actually, I look forward to comments and questions. So bring them on. Okay. So we are in a one universal year in 2026. So basically how you get the universal year is you add 2026 together. So 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6, okay? And that gives you, I believe it's a 10. And then in numerology, you're always trying to reduce to a single digit. So a 10, so a 1 plus 0, it gets you 1. So right now in 2026, we're all experiencing the one universal collective energy, okay? So we are now in April, we are moving into this massive energy shift. But I just want to recap this one so it makes a little more sense, or you have a little more knowledge to take away with you when we get off the live tonight. So we're in the one universal year. So the one is the one is known as the seed year. It's known as the seed year. Metaphorically, it's like planting a seed this year. And again, in numerology, the cycles of time are a little bit different than what we would know on a societal level. So like society runs in decades, right? And so there's 10 years in a decade. In numerology, we run in epicycles. So the epicycle includes years 1 through 9. So 1 is the new beginning, 9 is the ending, and then it circles back and starts all over at 1 again. So right now we are in a brand new energy, okay? We are in a brand new epicycle. And so this is why it's called the seed year. So basically this year is all about what do you want to plant and see grow over the next 9 years. And so this year is very important because, I mean, if you know numerology, if you have a little bit of knowledge about numerology or kind of understand that we're in this new time, as with anything, I think you should make the most of it. But really, particularly with the one, there's a lot of opportunity here. Again, it's about planting that seed to see what you want to grow over the next 9 years. So if you don't want something good, if you don't want negative, or you don't want toxicity, or, you know, like you just want things to be a lot more, I don't know, more harmonic or peaceful or what, I mean, there's so many things that we could all want. If you don't want those things, then focusing on what you do want and growing that over the next 9 years is kind of what we're looking at. Debbie says, ooh, I love it, like a fresh new start. Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, life, I'm a firm believer that we are the writer of our lives. Okay, we are the writer, we are the storyteller, we get to decide. And basically this 1 year is like a fresh new chapter, I guess, if you will. You know, it's not the whole book, it's just a part of the book. Over the next 9 years, of course, a 9-year chapter, if you will. So why not write a story that you're actually happy with? Why not write a story that you actually love? Why not write an adventure novel, right? Like why, you know, in life, shitty things always happen. It doesn't matter who you are, what the circumstances, shitty things happen all the time, you know, and a lot of things are not in our control. But there are a lot of things that are in our control. And as I said, I am a firm believer that we are the writer of our stories. And so let's make it a kick-ass novel. Like, why not, right? So planting that seed this year, this is what you're really wanting to focus on, is what is the seed? What are you planning? What are you focusing on? What do you want in your life? Okay. So this year is, so with the number one is all about self. It is about you. It's about the individual. Okay. It's about identity. A lot of I words come with the number 1. So this year is a huge invitation to build a brand new identity from the ground up, basically. You know, writing that story. Who do I want to be? You know, what do I want to do? What do I want in my life? What don't I want in my life? This, that, and the other. So this year basically asks you, do you want to continue with the Groundhog Day hustle? People pleasing, control, you know, victimhood, perfectionism, conforming, etc. You know, the list can go on and on. Or do you decide that you don't want that to be your identity anymore? Right? You want life to be more peaceful. You want more harmony in your life. You're done with those bending over backwards and hustling every day. You know, the grind, being in the grind. So it's not just about the doing of new things. It's about who you believe you are. Again, that identity, building that new identity from the ground up. So this is not something that just happens overnight. Like, we are in this energy for a whole 12 months, right? So we have a whole 12 months to kind of sit in this and figure this out. And I always say, when it comes to identity work, when it comes to learning about you, knowing who you are, you really need to sit in alone time, have alone time to sit with yourself and ask those questions and figure it out. Who am I? What do I want? Where am I going? What don't I want, right? What am I tired of? What am I ready to let go of and not take with me anymore? So spending some time with yourself, taking yourself out, being alone sometimes, learning to really build trust in yourself. Okay? With the 1 energy, we can experience feelings of, well, lack of self-esteem, if you will. So as with everything, there's a positive and a negative. In the 1 energy, you can feel the negative energy of self-esteem, low self-esteem. So you'll be tested with that this year. You'll be tested with your confidence or lack thereof, okay? You'll be tested with showing up and trusting yourself. And so these are skills that sometimes we're not lucky to just, you know, have and walk the earth with these amazing skills. Sometimes these skills have to be learned and practiced. And so that's kind of what this energy is showing up for all of us this year. So just thinking back to that feeling of childlike wonder and awe, okay? Again, this new beginning, these new pages that you get to write on. It's actually, when you think about it, it's really exciting. I don't know about you, but it gets me excited because I'm like, you know what? There are things that I want, and there are things that if in 9 years, I get to this time in 9 years and I look back and I'm in the same place that I was, or even worse, that's going to bite, right? That's going to bite hard. And so just knowing that, kind of having that at the forefront, I don't know, it just makes me feel excited. It's like, what can I do over these next 9 years? It amps me up. Okay. So as a kid, you didn't have to fix everything to be happy. We were just happy. We were completely oblivious to all the crap that was going on around us. And so, you know what? Actually, the energy of the one universal year, if anyone is familiar with tarot, is very much the Fool. Is very much the Fool in tarot. The tarot is the adventurist. The tarot is embarking on an adventure. And an adventure, you don't know where you're going. You don't know how you're going to get there. You don't know how the story unfolds. That's what makes it an adventure. And, you know, for some, I think that it could be a little bit scary, but at the same time, it could be exciting because what good can come out of this? Instead of saying, oh, well, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And oh, I'm like, I'm too afraid. And instead of all of that, it's like, what if it turns out to be amazing, right? And so this is kind of the energy that's very much present right now for us. Debbie, oh boy, how I would love that childlike innocent oblivion again. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it served its purpose, right? For sure. A new beginning starts by following what actually excites you. That's what a journey is. You're excited, starting this new chapter. What excites you? What pumps you up? But here's the thing. So again, if you're kind of oblivious to the numbers and the energy and the change of the cycles and whatnot, I mean, you could just carry on and doing the status quo, right? Never really truly knowing or understanding. But many of us are trying to build this life, this new life, using old heavy habits. And so, as I said earlier, this is a new epicycle. This is a new clean slate for you to build right from the ground up, something new, something amazing. And I mean, sure, you could take all those old habits with you, the toxicity, the negativity, those old habits that kind of got you stuck or in ruts before, but they're not serving you. They're not serving a purpose. And again, in 9 years, at the end of the 9-year epicycle, you're going to get there and go, oh God, we're still here in the same place. And I don't know about you guys, but that makes me want to run away screaming. Truly, it does. If anybody knows, I'm a 5 life path, and 5 life paths thrive in change. So it can't stay too much the same for too long. Stagnancy doesn't work for us. It's like, yes, let's do this. What is our adventure going to look like? And in fact, actually, the 5 life path is an adventurist. So this is very exciting for me. So a lot of us, though, we get stuck in friction because we're still trying to be the fixers. We're still trying to be the people pleasers and essentially living someone else's code. So for anybody who follows my work, anybody who follows any reels or anything like that, when we experience friction in our lives regarding perfectionism, control, people pleasing, distracting, escape, all of that kind of stuff, when we're in those Groundhog Day loops, it means that we are in friction. We're not in flow, and we are living a design mismatch. So numerology, I should have prefaced this live with saying numerology is the study of numbers. It is the study of numbers and their energetic influence on our lives. And when each one of us was born, we were born with a specific code, and that code makes us who we are. You know, in a core numerology chart, we have 5 numbers. 1 is your life path. That's your purpose. That's your mission that you signed up to complete in this lifetime. Your second number, which is your expression number, that is how you express yourself. You show up, you give love, you need love. We also have the heart's desire number. That is the number of what's on your heart, literally your heart's desire, what motivates you every single day to get up and get moving. We also have our birthday number. That was the day we were born on. And that is gifts that were bestowed upon us to help us on our adventure. And then lastly, we also have the personality number, and that's how the world sees us. That's what magnetizes people to us, if you will. So when I said you're living someone else's code, you're living in a design mismatch. If you're experiencing friction, if you're experiencing disharmony, discord, being stuck, feeling stagnant, you're living someone else's code. You're in a design mismatch. If you're in perfectionism, you're trying to force a design. You cannot plant a garden of wonder if you're white knuckling the seeds. So at the beginning, we talked about planting the seed. So I like to use the metaphor. It's like, you know, when you're planting a garden, if anyone's planted a garden, if anyone has ever planted even just like a house plant or anything like that, when you plant a seed, you don't just plant it and like walk away, right? You have to tend to that. So it's like you plant the seed, you know, give it nice fertilizer, you give it water, it needs sunshine, you need to weed the garden, right? Like there's things that you have to do. It's not like a set it and forget it kind of thing, right? And so just being mindful of that seed and allowing it to grow into this big, beautiful, lush garden or plant, if you will. A new identity means you stop being the security guard for everybody else. So in my work, there are, we've kind of already talked about these, you know, the people pleasing, the bending over backwards, white knuckling our day, living in Groundhog Day, all that kind of stuff. It's being the security guard for everyone else and everything else. And it can be exhausting. It's exhausting. It can lead to burnout, you know, just not having any motivation. There's no joy, you know, it's constantly being on for everything and everyone. So now that we've kind of, you know, that's the basis of the Universal One energy. And just a little recap that I wanted to do so that you guys could understand that we are in this influence for a whole 12 months. So really, take advantage of the energy while you can. Because next year, the cycle is going to shift again. Okay? So instead of the focus being on you, which is the individual, your identity, you know, planting your seed, the focus is going to shift next year to a 2 universal year. And that's instead of being the focus being on you, it's you and another, you and others. So it's about relationships. So really hone in and take advantage of the energy while we're here. Okay, so we are now going to move on to April's energy. And so just so you know, guys, every month changes. And as with the universal number, that changes every year, every month changes, and that's a different energy as well. So we just left March, which was a 4 energy. Now we're moving here in April to the number 5. Okay, so we're going to talk about the 5 universal month in numerology. So the 1 year is the seed, but the 5 month is the wind that moves it. Debbie, guilty. I tend to go with the flow to avoid conflict. Yeah, absolutely. Keeping the peace at a cost though, right? Not your peace, it's everybody else's peace. So the 1 universal year in combination with a 5 universal month brings a lot of high energy. Okay, so we already kind of touched on the 5 when I had said I was a 5 life path. So my life path is a 5. That's my path. That's my purpose. That's the mission I signed up for. And at the end of the day, the 5 is the 5 is the 5. Whether it shows up as one of your core numbers, whether it shows up as a cycle in your chart, or whether it shows up in a cycle of time, collectively or personally. The 5 is the 5 is the 5. The 5 is all about freedom. It's about fun. It's about adventure. Sounds great though, right? But like I said, as with everything, there's a positive and a negative. So while it has some really amazing aspects in the positive side, we also have things on the not so positive side, like chaos. You know, we can have freedom and fun, but we can also have chaos. So it is a very high energy. If you can kind of tell, I'm a little bit of, I have a little bit of a high energy. That is the 5. It's outgoing, it's out there, it's vivacious, it's, you know, so when you're under the influence of the 5, you can really feel like, I want to have fun. I want to let go. I want to let loose and have a good time. I want to party. I want to travel. I want to go on road trips. I want to do it all. The 5 wants to do it all, literally. So, that is part of the influence of the 5. It's dynamic and it's a dynamic and transformative period focused on rapid change, freedom, and bold new beginnings. Okay, so the 5 is fast. The 5 is a fast moving energy, and literally it can, if you get swept up in it, it can literally wrap you up and turn you around, kind of thing, right? So you can expect unexpected opportunities to come up in the 5. You can expect your communication to be amplified, to be even better, to work for you. But you're also going to need, because the number 5 is all about change and transformation, that's going to require something from you. So here's the thing. You don't just get to like experience the energy, sit back and collect, right? You always have to either be working with it or working against it. And if you're working against it, you're going to have a really tough time. So in the 5, you're going to be asked to be more flexible and more adaptable. So when things change, and I know not everybody is comfortable with change. You know what? A lot of people are afraid of change. A lot of people don't want to budge, period. And so if you're riding the wave of the 5 and something comes up that kind of, you know, shakes things up a little bit, if you resist that, if you fight that and you sit back and you say, I'm not budging, well, yeah, that little tornado whirlwind may just pick you up, flip you around, and toss you out the window. So, but seriously though, it is a whirlwind energy sometimes. So this combination acts as a catalyst for breaking routines, for breaking that Groundhog Day that I've kind of been talking about. That Groundhog Day. When I talk about Groundhog Day, I talk about getting up and doing the same things every single day consistently. Okay? Getting up and showing up for everybody else. Getting up and making sure that everyone else is taken care of. Getting up and making sure that you're up here all day long practicing mind control. And I don't mean other people's minds. I mean your mind. Like, you think, for some reason, us humans believe that if we're up here and we're constantly worrying about this, that, and the other, that somehow helps and controls the situation. But all it does is steal your peace, quite honestly. So this combination acts as a catalyst for breaking routines and also taking calculated risks to advance personal or professional goals. And so, as I said, with that 1 energy, you know, if you actually sit with it, if you haven't done it already, if you actually sit with it and get real with yourself and really figure out who you are, who you believe you are, this month can really be transformative for you. Really dig your heels in and put in the work. I mean, major changes can happen here. So because of this high energy, wild ride nature of this combination with the 1 and the 5, flexibility will be crucial to avoid feeling overwhelmed or creating unnecessary drama. So I'm just going to share a little experience here with you guys. Back in 2023, that was May of 2023. Whether you guys are aware or not, I live in Alberta. I live in Drayton Valley, and in 2023 May we were evacuated due to wildfires. They got extremely close to the town, and the whole town had to be evacuated at the same time. It was like a last minute call. There really wasn't too much of a plan. It was crazy. Like, funnily enough, me and my husband are both 5s. And so a lot of people were running around like madmen and forgetting to pack their underwear. And me and my husband are like, yeah, we got this, because we have that 5 energy. We are very flexible. We are very adaptable people, and we handle, emergencies and crazy circumstances very well. So we got everything that we needed packed in our vehicles, our pets, our children, and out the door. It was a wild ride. It was crazy. So we were evacuated in a 5. Okay. So May is the 5th month. So yes, universally the April, it is only a 4, April, the 4th month in, but numerologically on a universal level, the calculations work out to be a 5. But nonetheless, anytime a 5 shows up, whether it's the 5th month or what have you, you're dealing with some 5 energy. So May 2023, we are evacuated at 11 o'clock at night and literally stuck in traffic trying to get out of town. The whole town had to be evacuated. One exit. There was one exit. So that's how the 5 can show up. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a crazy shit show. That's how it can show up. I'm just using it as an example. So hold on to your seat. It could be a little bit of a ride. So the number 5 can, as we talked about, bring chaos. It can bring change. And you know what, you guys? I know a lot of people are afraid of change, and a lot of people don't want to change, but you know what? Change is necessary. 5 is the number of change. If we take one number out of the number sequence, life would be pretty dang boring, if you ask me. If everything stayed the same, things would be pretty dang stagnant and pretty dang boring. So we need the 5. We need change in our lives. We need to shake the bag up and, throw out what's inside and roll with the punches. It's necessary. I, for one, don't want to live a boring, stagnant existence for the rest of my life. So the 5 is necessary. It brings pivots and big surprises with it too. So April is designed to shake things up so you can see where your friction is. So maybe you have an inkling. Maybe you do completely know where your friction is. Maybe you're unaware. Regardless, the 5 energy is here, and it's kind of going to put a mirror. It's going to hold a mirror up a little bit for you. The 5 is the pattern breaker. It shows you where you are on autopilot. So again, if you're living Groundhog Day every day, doing the same things in the hustle over and over and over, it literally becomes like second nature, right? It's just what you do. It is autopilot. So when the 5 shows up, it's going to hold up that mirror for you. It forces you to look at the parts of your life that feel like Groundhog Day. And in a 5 month, the universe often pulls the rug from under control habits. So whether that is literally or mentally, as we talked about how humans like to try to control things in their minds, I'm guilty of that too. I'm not unscathed. So yeah, like that rug is just gonna come out from underneath and you're gonna fall on your bum. If a plan breaks or a door closes, that is the 5 working for you, okay? So I guess easier said than done to not, be upset if something doesn't work out or, get over it or what have you, but just know that it wasn't the path, okay? It is an invitation to pivot toward your actual freedom. And so this is why it was really important for me to do this live tonight, because we've talked about Groundhog Day. We've talked about the hustle. We've talked about how, some of us are perfectionists. Some of us are control freaks. Some of us are people pleasers. Some of us are overdoers and overgivers. And what that's actually doing, if we're feeling that friction and it's exhausting us, and we go home or we think to ourselves, like, I'm tired of this, I don't want this anymore for my life, that's why the 5 is here, okay? No, you're not gonna have a complete overhaul in the 5 month. I think that is almost impossible. However, this is one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this is what I focus on in my work. There is no time better than now to take advantage of the 1 and the 5 energy to actually pinpoint where that friction is coming from, and then have an idea of what the heck it is and how do I deal with this? What can I do? How can I free myself? Essentially, when your inner peace is lost, when you're stuck and you're stagnant and you don't know what to do, this is the 5. The 5 is coming up to shake things up for you. And it's an invitation to pivot toward your actual freedom. So when you first find that friction and you have that clarity and you see where the weight is coming from, you then can take those actionable steps toward freeing yourself from that cage. So the 5 tests your new identity. Will you panic and fix, or will you stay aligned? And I will tell you this much, even in the work that I do, okay? And this is from my own personal experience. I was a control freak. Hands down, in my head, constantly worrying about money, constantly worrying about time, constantly worrying about my energy. And I, for some reason, thought if I worry about them enough, if I had them at the forefront of my mind 24/7, and it caused all this stress and anxiety, that I was somehow controlling the situation. Not so. Not so. I was a perfectionist. If it wasn't done by me, it wasn't done right. I was the only one that could do it. And if someone else tried to do it and they didn't do it right, then I'd have to go back in and do it again. So it's just, I was robbing my own peace constantly, right? And so, staying aligned, so having the clarity, seeing the weight, and then taking the steps to move into that aligned direction is one thing. But once you finally have that clarity, that peace, and that alignment, it's work to stay there. It's not just like, okay, I'm here and all right, we're done. And it just goes away and life is blissful and peaceful. Nope, it's not. Because we are always going to be tested by those things that put us in this friction to begin with. So, people pleasing. You're always going to have something that comes up that tests your ability to put up a boundary. Okay? People pleasers need boundaries. All right? That's to save their own peace, they need to have a boundary put in place. No, I can't do that because my capacity doesn't honor it. No, I won't do that because I don't want to. You see what I'm saying? A people pleaser would always say yes and be there with bells on. And so putting up that hard no, that hard stop, that boundary, that's going to help you keep your peace. But it comes with work. You always have to stay on top of that. Those little gremlins will come out to play every once in a while to test your mettle, to test your ability to stay there. And don't worry, I still experience mine too. Mine come up and peek their little heads up and go, you should have done that because this person thinks that about you now. Well, I have to turn around and say, you know what? I don't care what that person thinks. There's my boundary. There's my hard no. Okay? If you try to manage the 5, you will end up exhausted and burned out. So here's the thing, you guys. Knowing either your personal year or the universal year cycle is like knowing the theme to your party. You don't want to show up at the wrong party in the wrong outfit for the entire year, for the entire month, what have you, okay? If you know the theme and the energy that you're working with, you allow yourself, let's say, to move and go with the flow of that energy instead of butting up against it. And when you know the energy and work with it, you can actually have a lot more success than any previous year or any previous month, hands down. And I don't mean success like, you're going to get rich and you're going to land that amazing job. I mean, it could, sure, but success with the energy. Okay, excuse me. So it allows you to have more success. And at the very least, if not even that, and at the very least, you have an understanding of why things are happening and how to make sense of it all. Okay, this is what I love about numerology. When you have that understanding, you can almost stop trying to fit the square peg into the round hole. Like if you guys can think back to times past, whether it was last month or last year or 10 years ago, sitting back and thinking about that time, it's like, that was a horrible year. I had the worst year ever. It was so painful and I cried so much and, or I had like the best year ever. Really, you were probably in flow of the energy. So if you move with the 5, you find the quick exit from the old heavy lift. This month is a gift to help you see that peace is aligned and not earned. So if you're tired of the friction and you don't know where to start, that's where I come in. My 90-minute clarity session looks at your unique code so we can see where the weight is, so where we can find the friction, where we can find that glitch, where we can truly discover where the design mismatch is happening, okay? We get clear on the weight you're carrying so you can finally put it down. Clarity, just having an awareness and understanding and insight can be, oh my God, it can almost feel like a relief. It almost feels like you're putting down the weight. Basically, if you want a spiritual bestie to keep the weight off, that's where my signature coaching comes in. So I offer the 90-minute session where we look at your life path number. So again, that's your path, your purpose, your mission that you signed up for in this lifetime. It's the path that you're here to traverse. It's your calling. And your expression number is the vehicle on the vehicle you're going to drive on that path. How you express yourself, how you show love, how you need love in this lifetime. It is the essence of you. And when one or both of those numbers are in friction, life can be pretty heavy. It can be pretty heavy. So that's my 90-minute clarity session. And then, as I said, I do have signature coaching programs. I have my 5-week coaching and I have my 5-month coaching. Notice the 5 themes, you guys. That was all, it was done purposely. It was done purposely. 5 is like my favorite number, but yeah, 5 is the number of freedom. And my life path is the 5. And I am known as the freedom seeker. So I crave and I seek freedom on all levels in my life. And because I was that control freak, because I was that perfectionist, because I was the overdoer that burnt myself out for 10 years, I was in complete burnout, exhausted. Because I was there, I've learned to free myself. I've found the key and I've unlocked the cage, and that's what I'm here to do in my work now. Okay. And during that process, I was able to create something called the alignment code. And it's a method that I use, a 5-step method that I use to help you get out of your cage, to get out of that Groundhog Day. It's the key. It's the key so you can unlock the cage and walk on out. Okay. So, if anyone is interested, I mean, I know you're on my page and I have all my information there, but if you want to check out my website, you can go to cosmicclarity.ca. It has all the information for you, for the intro session, and then my long-term VIP coaching programs. It's all there for you guys. But basically, that kind of sums up the forecast for today. If anybody has any questions regarding what we've kind of gone over right now, drop them in the comments. Oh, Debbie says, our sessions together have been so eye-opening. I've had so many aha moments since the first session. Debbie has been like my star client. She is my star client. She has come a long way, you guys, a long way. And these changes did not happen overnight for her. They did not. It was work. It was steady, progressive work that she had to put in, and she's doing amazing things. So she's my star client for now. Okay. But if you guys don't have any questions, we're gonna move on to the tarot portion. And so there's only a few of you guys in here right now. I don't know who's in here. But if you would like a card, please let me know. And then what I'm going to do is if nobody says they want a card, I'm just going to do like a collective reading for this month. Thanks, Debbie. Let me know if you want a card. Debbie wants a card. Of course she does. Yeah. All right. And I just I'm throwing cards. Okay. Bear with me 1 second. You know, I would have went with them and I would have used these for the reading, but there's too many. So we're just going to put those back. Okay. But if you prefer to do a collective one, no, I'll do your card and I'll do a collective reading as well, because this will be for anybody who watches the live, whether they're here right now or they watch after. So no worries. Okay, Debbie, this one fell out for you. And I apologize if there's a glare. Sometimes, yeah, there's a glare. Yeah, there you go. You got the Empress, okay? So the Empress is a number 3. Maybe. So the Empress is another number 3. So this is all about growing and expanding something. The Empress is the divine feminine. The divine feminine. And so with the number 3, it's all about creativity. It is about self-expression. Artistic abilities can come up with the number 3. But at the end of the day, it's about growing something. It's about expanding something. There's birth that can be attached to this energy. Now, because I know who you are, I know that you don't plan on having children. So we won't talk necessarily about that, but growing and expanding in something or an area of interest for you, expressing yourself through an area of interest for you. So this is the Empress. She is giving you a framework to create something new, to birth something new. So it's not necessarily about birthing a baby, but birthing something new, growing and expanding on the birth of something new for you. Okay. This is a very abundant energy. The Empress is lush. It's beautiful. It's abundant. And so a lot of times, I feel like beauty is attached to this. Growing something natural, whether it's a garden, natural beauty products, if you will. Just some examples for you. Take whatever resonates, or leave leave it behind. But this can also talk about, because it has like that, if you can kind of see like nature vibe to it, it's also saying like you need to get out in nature. Yeah, you need to get out in nature. You need to connect with nature. You know, get out and walk in the forest. Get out. I mean, things are just starting to melt and spring has come now, or starting to come. If you're in Alberta, we have not had spring, not even close yet. But get by a pond, get by a lake, a river, a stream, anything like that. Get your hands in some dirt. Do some planting seeds. Do some seed planting, grow a garden, plant a flower, plant a house plant, even, if you will. So definitely take advantage of Mother Nature and connecting to Mother Nature. This can also talk about like grounding to the earth as well. So when you have the opportunity, get out in the grass, do some barefoot earthing, grounding, sit in the grass, just enjoy Mother Nature. It's definitely a time to just reconnect with Mother Earth, if you will. Okay, so hopefully that resonated for ya. A lovely little message. Okay, so I'm just shuffling. I'm going to do the collective reading here. I love this card. The forest is my happy place. I can't wait to be amongst the trees again soon. Gardening too, maybe some meditation in nature. Ooh, I love that. I love that idea. I think that would be amazing. Some yoga and meditation in the park. That'd be cool. Okay, guys, so let's get into, we're going to anchor tonight's forecast and give a collective reading. So anybody who's here or anybody who watches the live later, this is for you for the month of April 2026. Okay, so the first card we have is the Ten of Pentacles. So I mean, it doesn't take an intuitive or tarot card reader to know that money is on people's minds, especially nowadays, right? Like money, finances, material, all that kind of stuff. It's on everybody's mind, with our economies, you know, the cost of living, this, that, and the other. Okay. So, I mean, this is definitely coming up. But with the Ten of Pentacles, it's got a bigger aspect to it. This is about leaving something, because it's a completion energy. It's a 10. This is about leaving something of lasting value. Okay. Leaving a legacy. And when the pentacles show up, they are a very solid, very grounded energy. And so you're being asked to, if this is on your mind, if you want to leave a legacy, if leaving something of lasting value is something that you want to see, you know, in your life, you need to get grounded. That's funny. We've kind of just getting grounded. We just talked about this with the Empress, but literally getting grounded in being practical, being pragmatic, getting focused, getting disciplined, following a step-by-step process, being very methodical, you know, watching your dollars and cents, making good choices, you know, when it comes to having more, maybe doing a budget, anything like that, that would require you to be a little more conservative and really get focused, because this is coming up. I mean, this is saying this can happen. This can absolutely be, you know, fate for you. But it's just saying, you know, to implement the aspects that I've just talked about to move into this direction. Now, for some, it can also be a windfall. So this could be something like winning the lottery. Okay. This could be receiving an inheritance, a lump sum kind of thing. An overflow here, abundance falling into your lap. Maybe in the movies, but but no, honestly. So it could be, yeah, like I said, inheritance, winning, you know, an upgrade in your finances. Okay, we also have the Four of Wands. All right, so interesting. This is I'm starting to see a pattern. I'm seeing a theme running here tonight. So with the Empress for Debbie's card, we talked about grounding, okay? We talked about with the the Ten of Pentacles, we talked about getting grounded and, making a plan and becoming disciplined and what have you. Well, we now have the Four of Wands. And so the four in numerology is practical, pragmatic, disciplined, focused, hardworking. It's all about safety, security, structure, and stability. Okay? So this is what we're wanting to create, not only in our finances, but in our home life. Okay? I mean, finances are part of our home life, but literally talking about the home here. So this could be where some of you may be moving this month, and that would make a lot of sense being in the 5 universal month. There can be travel. There can be change of residence, right? We're talking about change, and movement comes with the 5. So some of you could be moving to a new home. Some of you could be building a home. Okay, the 4 posts structurally sound in the ground, creating more of a safe and secure, stable home life for you, and potentially for some of you who have families. Okay. This card also has a celebratory energy to it. So if you've achieved this, or if you achieved that this month, celebrate that. Look at your wins and celebrate that. This also has celebratory energy in terms of marriage. This is marriage in the cards kind of energy. All right. This is literally walking through a new threshold. And so someone could be getting married this month. You may be getting married. Maybe someone is getting married. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful energy. Who doesn't want more security, right? And last but not least, we have the Ace of Cups. And this is just a beautiful way to solidify all of this. So first off, all aces are number ones, and number ones are new beginnings. So you have a new beginning here with the Ace of Cups being about love, emotions, or even relationships. And so this is a new cycle for you, okay? Some of you have your eye on something, someone, person, place, thing, situation, what have you. Some of you have your eye on something. You have your eye on the prize, if you will. And this is with the 1, it's about a creative and opportunistic energy. So maybe you have your eye on something that fills you up, that fills your cup. Okay, that makes your heart sing, that brings you joy. So whether that is a person, a new relationship, a new intimate relationship that may be coming in, it could be a new friendship. This could also actually represent the birth of a new baby. But your cup is running over. What is it? Your cup is runneth over. There we go. I'll just put it a little bit closer. It is like overflowing with love and joy and happiness and just like fulfillment. Okay. So, if you guys can see like the fish, like koi fish, we've got some goldfish in there. Those are like luck. Those are I believe are, a symbolism of luck. Okay. So, I mean, very, very positive, beautiful energy to kind of sum up the reading here. So what do we got here? Just to kind of recap, we have the 10 of Pentacles. Get focused on your finances. Really look at what you're trying to build that legacy. It's going to take that hard work and effort, that conservatism, getting grounded, safe and secure in your life, your business, your home life with your family, and following that thing on your heart. Getting the opportunity to create something beautiful, to create something wonderful, whether that's in a relationship, love or your emotions, or, however that shows up for you. But this is a very, very, very beautiful reading. And so lots of good things to come out of April, I'm sure. I'm so excited to see what kind of stuff happens for me this month even, right? I'm looking forward to it. I'm always ready and open to ride any wave that comes, because I'll tell you, the one thing about numerology, the one thing that it has allowed me to do is to not be scared. is to not be scared of things and to be open. You know, Debbie, for example, one of the sessions we were working together in, and when I told her that she was going to be in a 7 personal year, she kind of, I think her heart sunk into her stomach a little bit. I'm not oversharing, don't worry. It kind of sunk a little bit because I had expressed that I had a very rough 7 personal year. It was a year of a spiritual awakening, and with the spiritual awakening, it can be painful. It can be hard. And so with her knowing that, it kind of was like, but no, that's not for everybody. What I experienced may not be what you experience, and you may experience something completely different, and it's all about divine timing. Everything happens in divine timing when it's meant to, when you need it to. We have seasons and we have reasons. So just to not be afraid, just to be open, take that 5 with you beyond April. Move with flexibility and adaptability and be open to change. Life will be a lot more peaceful and it will flow a lot more easier. Lovely reading. Thank you for all you. Thank you. You're welcome. You're so welcome. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I don't know who the rest were of yous that were here, but I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening to my crazy ramblings. And yeah, it was awesome. I was really looking forward to doing this one. And so last plug of the night, you guys, just as so you kind of have it at the forefront, if you need that spiritual bestie to help me or to help you through the hustle, through the Groundhog Day, if you're ready to find that inner peace, cosmicclarity.ca, you guys, or you can send me a message here on Facebook. But nonetheless, I thank you guys all for being here. It was an amazing night. Appreciate all of yous, and we will see you. I will probably see you guys next month because I think I would actually like to start doing these once a month. So, okay guys, we will see you next month. Have a great night.